And welcome to the Kevin Dunn Show. Hope you're having a great day. We are just so excited that you're taking the time out to join us. We're going to be talking about a place today that's very dear to my heart. It's called the Biblical History Center. And we have a special guest today, one of the top archaeologists in the world. When we come back, I know he didn't want me to say that, but when we come back from the commercial break, we're going to be introducing to you our special guest today as we talk about the Biblical History Center located in LaGrange, Georgia.
The Kevin Dunn Show, brought to you in part by Rogers Barbecue, LaGrange, Georgia. Rogers Barbecue in LaGrange has been locally owned and operated since 1945. They have daily lunch specials for only $6.62, and that includes your drink and dessert. Tuesday nights from 5 to close is all-you-can-eat ribs. Thursday, Rogers has all-you-can-eat catfish, which, along with their stew, is famous throughout the region, and they proudly serve only U.S. farm-raised catfish. Dine in or use their convenient drive-thru, Monday through Saturday, 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. at 117 New Franklin Road in LaGrange. Come join the crowd at Rogers Barbecue.
The name Good Old Country Buffet speaks for itself. When you come to dine in at our family-oriented restaurant, that is what you will get, a Good Old Country Buffet. Our menu at Good Old Country Buffet changes out daily, offering you a wide variety of choices 7 days a week. Come and taste some of Phyllis Wright's made-from-scratch recipes with over 100 items that are freshly prepared on a daily basis, along with her extraordinary desserts. If you value family, if you value good food, you will value Good Old Country Buffet. So give grandmother a week off and come eat with us at the Good Old Country Buffet. Life's dirty, play clean. SOS Cleaners, locally owned and operated in LaGrange with over 54 years of experience, is a full-service dry cleaners, and all cleaning is done on premises using environmentally friendly cleaning processes and practices. SOS Cleaners specializes in shirt laundry, alterations, furs and leather, formals, odor removal, wedding gown preservation, and fire restoration. We have a fully functional drive-through, and same-day service is available upon request. Also, give them a call to find out their weekly specials. Life's dirty, play clean. Welcome back to the Kevin Dunn Show. Our special guest today is Dr. James Fleming.
Good to be with you, Kevin.
How are you doing?
I'm doing fine.
Greatest archaeologist, I said top 5. He probably wouldn't want me to say that, as we said before the break, but it's such a pleasure to have you here, man.
My mom would like you saying that, but there's other scholars who probably would disagree. So.
I got you. But he is top notch. Do your research on him. But anyway, Biblical History Center here in LaGrange, Georgia, just recently went under a name change. What was the former name, just in case people?
We were Explorations in Antiquity Center. Mm-hmm. We were trying to make it so it didn't necessarily have the word biblical in the title, mm-hmm. because we wanted to let's say, teacher not be afraid that some parent in her class would be nervous, because we aren't doctrinaire. Okay. That goes to somewhere with the word biblical, but so many people had trouble with remembering explorations in antiquity. Is
True.
It explorations plural? Is
mm-hmm.
it antiquities? Whatever. So the board voted to change it more simply to Biblical History Center.
And when I tell you, let me get my little quick spiel, and this is a must-see. I've been to this place several times. It's new to me every time I go. Out of all the places in the world that a facility like this could have been located, how did LaGrange, Georgia, get the opportunity to have a facility of this magnitude?
Kevin, we came from Jerusalem, Israel, where we had been since 1974. And I remember my first night in LaGrange at a restaurant, talking with the waitress. She said, "Now, let me see if I have this right. Mm-hmm. You have an office in Jerusalem and in LaGrange?" She got to add it,
yeah.
You know. But we were honored that the Callaway Foundation mm-hmm. said that they would help us with grants for us to, every museum needs help.
True.
You can't charge people what it costs. Mm-hmm. On the condition we'd put it in LaGrange. And we're happy with that decision. Yeah.
And give us Wow, I don't know how you can condense this down, but give us some snippets that what actually takes place at the Biblical History Center.
All right. We have several kinds of things. One of them we can talk about later is examples of ancient mealtime customs and experience with an ancient meal. Another is Artifacts Gallery, which is our newest edition. But we started out, our main thing has been full-scale replicas of things from daily life. And that we have life of the farmer, the afterlife, different tombs, the life of the shepherd, and life of the village. And so these full-scale replicas, we go on walks through them. And unlike the artifacts, which you can't touch, it's great, you can touch them, kids can climb on them, you know, so it gives you a real hands-on experience.
And you really get a feel for what things were actually like in biblical times. And speaking of biblical times, tell us about the biblical meals that you can experience. You can have a biblical meal.
Yeah. Well, there's 15 different food items, and the main thing is what a meal in the time of Jesus would have been like, with emphasis on understanding the Last Supper. If it's a Christian group, if it is a more secular group, they have fun looking at the manners and customs for what meals were like. But this would have been a Passover in around 30 AD, the customs at the meal. It is not a religious service.
Right.
It is fun way of looking at manners and customs. You're eating without benefit of knife, fork, and spoon. So we have cloth napkins, but you're dipping bread, you're learning what the ancient customs were, what the different food items meant, because that particular meal had some of the food as symbolic for things going back to be remembering the Exodus in Egypt, was the purpose of the Passover meal. And then we have the room set up with a real example of a reclining table.
Right.
Though the people sit at, it's more like coffee table and divan, so their backs could be support.
Yes,
We
sir.
tried it for a while, Kevin, with it being reclining on a mattress like it would have been. But we found a lot of Americans can't get up after an hour.
Okay,
Right,
got
yeah.
you.
So we switched it to coffee table and divan. But it set up as the setup was like a U shape. So we have one that they can take pictures of that's accurate, and then two others that we can have for the groups that come.
Wow. And right here in LaGrange, Georgia, you played a very intricate part of this facility coming to LaGrange. Dr. Fleming, this couldn't have been an easy task. Give us more insight on how you were able to bring a facility like this to LaGrange, Georgia.
Well, Kim, we had some help because we had an outdoor museum in Jerusalem.
Okay.
We, unfortunately, was a period from 2000 to 2005 when there were practically no Christian pilgrim groups going to Israel because of unrest, what was called the Second Palestinian Intifada.
Okay.
And we had a problem, our landlord wouldn't give us a break. So we had to close down in 2005. In checking around, in the U.S., I thought the Bible Belt, generally southeast, would probably be wise because it's biblical history. And then when the Callaway Foundation indicated they would be willing to help us if we would put it in LaGrange, we could move quite a few of our things from Jerusalem, ship them here. But of course, most of it is made out of stone, which means we had to bring in, it was 124, you can tell who counted, trucks, dump trucks of rocks from Opelika.
124 dump trucks of rocks.
Big dump trucks. I mean, big boulders, because Opelika was limestone quarry.
Okay.
And 90% of the biblical sites are in a limestone area, so we wanted to be accurate. And Georgia, if we got our stones from there, would be taken for granted to use Georgia stone. So we brought in the limestone. So we actually have a cliff along the side for the life of the shepherd, have an oasis, correct biblical plants and things like that, papyrus and bulrushes in a little oasis and stuff. And then We have, for the life of the farmer, Italian cypress trees. We have cedars of Lebanon.
Right.
3 old olive trees. We also have figs and almonds. These are some of the main trees of the Bible. And 3 agricultural terraces where these plants are actually growing. And then for life of the farmer, the processing equipment, like a threshing floor to process the grain, wine press. We have a vineyard and a vineyard watchtower to process the grapes, an oil press to process the olive oil. We have an aqueduct bringing water from a spring to a water wheel that can turn. And we actually, the grinding stone came from a branch of the Chattahoochee.
Okay.
Where there was one, because it's not private, but for a public display. It was, 5 feet down.
Okay.
From past floods. But when have that, and then the village gate is made of, again, the limestone.
The limestone. So
it's all based on real discoveries. So these are replicas.
Now the olive trees, you have some olive trees that are over 300-400 years old?
Well, about 250 now.
250.
They came from a Spanish mission in California. A road was going to be going through their olive orchard. So we wanted old olive trees. We're still working on, we have these high roofs, 25 feet high, to make it so there's still breeze underneath, but so that people in the summer and during rain can be out of the sun and the rain, but it gives more shade than it should on the olive trees. So we're working on trying to give them a little boost with some extra fertilizer now.
Gotcha. And you have a real, no, this is not a replica, this is just real, the amphitheater you have at the Biblical History Center. Tell us a little bit about that before we go to the break.
Okay. Well, the archaeological replicas are in a U-shape area, and we intentionally left an open area in the middle, hoping one day, it took 6 years of being here, to raise enough money to build a Roman amphitheater. It has 13 rows of seats, and it's covered. And that's great for sound and light shows. It's great for a group coming to entertain, etc. But it's all made out of reinforced concrete and stone. We needed that because our present building is wood. And we have a special attraction that had to be not in a fire-likely area. So it's under, the amphitheater is actually hollow underneath for the Artifacts Gallery, our newest display.
And it's just incredible. And I'm telling you, this is a must-see, the Biblical History Center. I can't say it enough. The place is very dear to me. Dr. Fleming, we're going to have to pause and take a quick commercial break. When we come back from the commercial break, of course, we're in the Christmas season, and this is an exciting time at the Biblical History Center, and some exciting things are planned during this time of the year. More of Dr. Fleming when we come back from the commercial break.
Rogers Barbecue in LaGrange has been locally owned and operated since 1945. They have daily lunch specials for only $6.62, and that includes your drink and dessert. Tuesday nights from 5 to close is all-you-can-eat ribs. Thursday, Rogers has all-you-can-eat catfish, which, along with their stew, is famous throughout the region, and they proudly serve only U.S. farm-raised catfish. Dine in or use their convenient drive-thru, Monday through Saturday, 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. at 117 New Franklin Road in LaGrange. Come join the crowd at Rogers Barbecue.
Coldwell Banker Spinks Brown Duran Realtors is the market leader in residential and commercial sales. With over 40 years in the community and 2 offices located in LaGrange and West Point, our knowledgeable and professional sales agents can assist you in both Georgia and Alabama. Whether purchasing or selling a home, commercial property, or land, Coldwell Banker Spinks Brown Duran Realtors is the obvious choice to serve you. View our listings online at www.spinksbrownduran.com and contact us today so we can help with all of your real estate needs.
Welcome to America's Mattress, the area's largest mattress showroom within 50 miles, and it's located right here on the Parkway in LaGrange, Georgia. Here at America's Mattress, we have 7 different iComfort memory foam mattresses on display, 7 different iSeries hybrids on display, 7 different Perfect Sleepers on display, and 17 other models by Serta on display. We also have 6 different adjustable bases on display. America's Mattress carries the Dr. Green that is designed for people with back problems. America's Mattress also carries both mattresses that our Consumer Report recommends as the best innerspring and best memory foam. So for the best mattresses at the lowest prices, shop America's Mattress here in LaGrange, Georgia on the Lafayette Parkway.
And welcome back to the Kevin Dunn Show. Our special guest today is Dr. James Fleming of the Biblical History Center. And Doc, we're getting ready to go into the Christmas season. We're going to be showing some slides, and Dr. Fleming will be sharing information about those. So tell us about our first slide, which is the Star of David.
Okay.
Tell us a little bit about that.
We're calling it the Bethlehem Star. You're
Bethlehem
correct,
Star.
David's from Bethlehem.
All right.
But we have all this month walks called Follow the Shepherd's Walk.
Cool.
Rather than having just general things we would do the rest of the year, we are going to the main Life of the Shepherd Farmer Village. The village is now going to be Bethlehem.
Right.
And the shepherd, of course, will be the shepherds in the fields, keeping watch over their flocks, etc. But it will take parts of the Christmas story and how it would have been understood 2,000 years ago. And your viewers can see we have a beautiful lit star 30 feet high above a cave remembering where Jesus was born. So the whole atmosphere is nice. We have walks in the day, but unlike rest of the month, on Friday and Saturday nights, we have walks in the evening as well.
Cool, cool. Now the next beautiful slide here, we have the distant view of Bethlehem. Tell us a little bit about that one.
Well, the village of Bethlehem is kind of small, but you see on the right, in modern day, on the far left of the picture, it looks like a little volcano. You can barely see it. That is a palace built by King Herod. And so we thought, well, why don't, because Bethlehem has this distant palace by Herod, why don't we do a special sound and light show contrasting King Herod with what Jesus' followers came to believe as King Jesus.
Man, this guy's smart too. Anyway, the next slide we're going to see here is it called Herodian Mountain?
Herodian, yes.
Okay.
Herod was going to build a site to thank God for his mom being saved in a chariot accident, but when it came time to build it, rather than honoring it God, he named it Herodian for himself.
All right.
He was vain. But this is a mountain that has a palace on top. But in the excavations, which are going on as we speak, they're finding the palaces went down the slope in a lower city. It's the largest palace in the Roman world. And on the picture you can see the excavations in the lower part of the valley have shown other palatial buildings that have been found. Wow,
wow. And we continue on with the next slide, and this is Herod's tomb.
Yes. A first century historian named Josephus said that Herod was buried at the Herodian. And there was an archaeologist named Ehud Netzer who for 17 years was looking for Herod's tomb. He guessed the very top, you know, but he found out it was halfway down and that the upper half of the mountain is artificial. And for Jews, you need to be buried in the bedrock, right? So later he realized, of course, I should have been looking in the lower part. But you can see all that remained is the foundation, because Herod had so many enemies after he died.
True.
This monumental tomb, which was over 100 feet high, was completely destroyed. And all that remains is the bottom few courses of the foundation.
Okay, and you can't talk about Herod's tomb without discussing Herod's casket.
Yes. Actually, parts of two caskets. It seems that probably also a sister was buried in this monument. But it's a beautiful cream, slightly pink-colored stone carved with a beautiful rosette pattern on one end. But you can tell by the picture, it was broken into hundreds of pieces. And probably this was done by the zealots, because Herod was a vassal of Rome, and he was very oppressive and cruel. And once there were no longer guards for his tombs, when the zealots took over just before 70 AD, they probably pushed that tomb out, and it pancaked on the bottom and completely broke into all sorts of small pieces.
Man, that's incredible. Now the next slide is Herod's mountain, with a Herod raising mount.
Okay, now you can see on this is a model.
Okay.
But you can see on the lower part of the hill on the right is the tall monumental tomb. We used to think before, just 2 years ago, 2-3 years ago, that the mound was built at the same time with a round palace on top. We now know that it was only after Herod was very sick and about to die, he ordered that huge mound to be built, hauling in stones and gravels from great distances probably, to make an artificial hill to people could see, even from Jerusalem, which is 8 miles away, that you could see this on the horizon. He wanted to impress people. Apparently, he didn't think his tomb monument was impressive enough, as he was getting real sick his last couple of years. So he ordered it to be having this artificially raised mountain around it.
Okay, all right. Man, that's amazing. Now tell us about the next photo, the workman's oven.
So just 2 years ago, in excavating in, Herod had a theater in his lower palace and a gallery for his royal family. And when he decided to raise the mountain, he covered all that up. And a workman's oven shows here, you hear that oven was found with the workman, and the pottery around the oven shows this was just the last, he died 4 BC, just between 6 and 4 BC. He was so wanting to raise his mountain, he covered his palace, his lower palace, with debris. And the workmen have graffiti and stuff around too, where they're tearing down the roof of the gallery so that lower slope of this mound. And so what is new is all that was done frantically just before he died, so he could bring more glory to himself with a really monumental tomb. And so remember Mary and Joseph flee to Egypt and are in Egypt when Herod died? While they were in Egypt, they then come back to Bethlehem and then go on to Nazareth, where they would have seen the horizon is different. Look at that big mound those last 2 years that has been built so that more glory would come to the power of King Herod.
Wow. Man, you have too much knowledge for your own good. But anyway, the next photo is a picture of the Christmas presentation in the amphitheater. Tell us a little bit about this photo.
Yes. Well, you can see there's a few silhouettes of people in the foreground. Can you see parts of 2 screens? There's 3 screens. So there's a multimedia with sound, music, and lights, and more pictures than I could have as briefly do now, but with the 3 screens. And it contrasts the cruelty of King Herod. So right stage is his palace, which is, you can see there. And then this was a criminal who died a king's death, right? Monumental palace, beautiful stone casket, a gold crown, purple robe, etc.
Now, now we're on the last slide now, right? Correct?
I think there's 2 more. This is a close-up of Herod in the palace.
Okay, so let's see the one with Herod.
So here you can see his attendants around him and stuff, and the hanging beads on the walls and stuff like that. So he was really a king, but he wanted to die a monumental death, and had that monumental mountain quickly being built above for his tomb monument. But the left stage, we have a simple manger. And Herod was a criminal who died a king's death.
Criminal king's death.
Jesus was a king who died a criminal's death, right? The Romans put him to death by crucifixion.
True.
So we will be using Christmas carols to celebrate the simplicity of his birth and the manger, but also talk about the cruelty of his death. And the king by might contrasted with the king by right. The king who had slaves surrounding him, the king who came to serve. So it's a wonderful, wonderful way to celebrate Christmas.
Wow. Now the last slide here.
It sounds funny, but
no, actually it makes a lot of sense.
Well, there's 2 little sparrows.
2 little sparrows
sitting on one of the roof slanted stones from Herod's tomb. And it reminded me when I was at his tomb, all pushed down. He had, the Lord's eyes are even on the sparrow. Jesus' life was sensitive to the small and weak, and not even a sparrow falls without the Father, he taught. So I thought it was a nice way to translate. The Christmas part of the show moves to celebrate King Jesus.
The transition,
Yeah.
the great king.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, you plan all of this, or with the help? Do you do the same thing every year for Christmas, or you change it up?
As of this last Christmas, we changed it from being called Under the Bethlehem Star, mainly Christmas carols. We thought it'd be great because they had just found out that Herod's tomb, recent excavations show he did all of that monumental work at the end when Mary and Joseph fled from Bethlehem. So why don't we contrast the nature, shall we say, the lack of character of Herod and the wonderful character of Jesus that drew people to him, whereas Herod forced people to pay him homage.
Wow. Now, Dr. Fleming, we have time for one last question. If we have any artifact gurus out there, how authentic are the artifacts in the gallery at the Biblical History Center?
Well, I'm happy to say that they're all authentic. The government of Israel has given us over 250 real discoveries. They call them national treasures from Israel. We had to be in an earthquake, tornado-proof, fire-proof place. That's why it's under the new theater. But the gallery has things put in a natural setting and not just on a shelf. And we have illustrations to show daily life in ancient times. And we have artifacts that go from the time of Abraham and Sarah in the book of Genesis, all the way through the New Testament period and even into early Christianity. They've given us things to show new discoveries from some of the church ruins found in the country. So it covers this broad span, but we're one of only 7 places in the world where they've given such a collection. So we are very honored that even LaGrange, Georgia, and folks down here can come and see those. And that's going to be open Christmas, Friday and Saturday nights when we have the sound and light shows. You could also, the sound and light show is $10, but if you would like to go and spend as much time as you want in the Artifacts Gallery, that would be an additional $5.
Okay, all right. Well, Dr. Fleming, we appreciate you being a guest on the
you,
Kevin Dunn Show.
Okay.
And I know I've said it once, twice, 3 times. You got to go to the Biblical History Center, especially during this time of the year, any time of the year. And once again, if there's a topic that you would like to see discussed on the Kevin Dunn Show, please email us at thekevindunshow@wjcntv.com. We thank you so much for watching. Hope you have a great day.